Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about The Sound of Music. And this movie came out in 1965 and is directed by Robert Wise. And I've seen two other movies that he's directed. I've seen West Side Story, the original from 1961, and Star Trek The Motion Picture from 1979. And both of those movies I think are fine. They're not terrible, I just don't really connect with them all that much. And I have seen this movie a few times before at least, but I couldn't remember too much about it, mostly because I haven't seen it in like, I don't know, 20 years, but there were still parts of it that I could remember. And as I was rewatching the film, it was coming back to me, surprisingly. I was like, wow, I remember a lot about this movie. Like, it just stuck with me for so many years. Like, literally decades it's been stuck with me. And I do feel as though it's just a very well made movie, and it's almost 3 hours long. And that was my biggest fear going into it again was the runtime. I was like, am I really gonna be okay with this with that runtime? But surprisingly enough, I didn't feel it at all. It even had an intermission, which is nice. And I just watched it on Amazon Prime, and the intermission didn't last for very long. I think it was only like a couple minutes, but that was just the version that I saw. And this movie looked very nice at times, and the standouts were the establishing shots. I really loved the look of the landscapes and the hills. They looked beautiful in this film, and I also enjoyed the songs in this movie a lot. I think they're very memorable and catchy, and it gets stuck in your head and really helps out the tone of this movie, which I do love as well, because it was really that tone that was keeping me going through a lot of this movie. And also the characters are very likable and relatable and understandable, and even the ones that don't have a lot of screen time, you can still enjoy with what we have of these characters, because they're just likable characters and very memorable. I also felt as though the singing was great. I can't really remember a specific moment where the singing was terrible. Like, it genuinely felt like it was being performed and didn't really take me out of it. And I do like the dance choreography, and it's also very catchy throughout. And I think that's one of the reasons why it stayed in pop culture for as long as it has. And I do also think that's another reason why this movie has stayed relevant for as long as it has. It's just because of pop culture. Just remembering it, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I can say that much. And this movie also won Best Picture, which is a film that I do think was deserving of it. I'm not sure if it would have been my pick out of all of the nominations that year. I'll have to check them out, but still, I'm happy that they picked a great one. Now, I am pretty positive about this movie, and when you talk about a classic movie, then it's usually considered like, yeah, you shouldn't talk about negatives for some people, but I have my own criticisms with it, and there was just a couple things about the plot early on in which I was confused about, but the movie goes along pretty quickly, and even if you do have that plot hole in mind, or just some minor things about it that don't really work for you all too well, it still works as a whole for me, for the most part. And I will say one criticism that I did have in the first half of the movie is that while I do think the songs are great and are memorable and catchy and fun to listen to, I do feel as though in the first half, I have to admit, I do feel as though I was kind of bombarded with music nonstop, to where I do feel as though it was kind of overkill in a sense. It's like, okay, that's enough. Let's have this a little bit more spread out. Stop singing. Give us some time to breathe. Like, great songs and all, but I just would have preferred a bit more space in between in the first half. The second half handles that a lot better, because I do feel as though they were more spread out and used sparingly in the second half, for sure. And there was also a major point in the story that was huge for the characters. I'm kind of trying to dance around it so I don't spoil it, but the reason why I take issue with it is because it just felt rushed to me. Like, what? We're here already? That's kind of weird. Like, it kind of just lessened the impact of it, which was kind of sad for me. That's about all I have to say about The Sound of Music. I thought it was great. It was really fun rewatching it, and while I do have my own criticisms with it, I think it's great. Would I say it's one of my favorite movies ever? No. There are other movies that I do like a lot more, for sure, but still really enjoyable, and I would recommend you check it out whenever you get the chance. And with all that being said, I'm going to give The Sound of Music an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of The Sound of Music, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Devil Wears Prada. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.